What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Prairie Podcast. We know it's been a minute, but we got a lot to talk about because the Jets are an absolute turmoil, and it is not a fun sight. So welcome back. It's going to get interesting. It's going to get heated, and I, for one, couldn't be happier for it because I need to yell a little bit about the Jets right now, and I think all of us do because what the hell is wrong with this team? There are no answers because who cares anymore? They just suck. Now, I'm going to ask Jackson because Zach made a video after the last game. If you guys didn't watch it, go watch it because it's a top 10 reaction video by the Nolan Hockey Podcast. But I didn't make one because I didn't want to talk about that game. I didn't want to remember that game, and neither did Jet Sub Mr. Jackson over here. So, how are we feeling? Because I feel like shit after that game, and I don't personally feel like shit. I'm just angry at the team.
The vibes have never been lower.
I'd say.
Concerning the Winnipeg Jets, I'm sad to announce. This team has, I don't know, obviously played very well for the first 40 to 50 games of the season, but it has not been very good over the last, I don't know, since the Pittsburgh game in January. That's the last good Jets game I think I remember watching, where they played a whole 60.
Oh my God,
and we're at the point now where we've lost 2 games to San Jose, who are arguably the worst team I've really seen in a long time. That team is bad. They have 2 wins, and I know we probably talked about this already been in some of my videos, I'm sure, but only 2 wins in their last 16 games, and both of them are against the Jets. That's concerning.
I think that's more concerning. That's
not good. And it's not like, oh, the Sharks are, playing spoiler. No, the Sharks are decimated. The Sharks stink. But we've been watching the Jets just kind of do their thing and not really care, seemingly. Rick Bowness has called out the group, I think, 3 to 4 times now, and there seems to be little to no answer. I don't know. It's kind of funny. One thing I just want to throw in quick before we move on to Zach here or whoever wants to speak. Mark Scheifele was told that he would not be available to the media today, and after practice. So I thought that was kind of funny. So they're just bubble wrapping him. They wouldn't let him talk to the media. So obviously, the higher ups are noticing that this is an issue as well.
Yeah, and Zach, I'll let you have the floor in a second, but I just gotta say that I think it's pretty crazy to see Mark Scheifele, Mr. I don't even swear because I'm so polite, being such a good, well-mannered hockey boy right now. You love to see it, You love to see it. Zach, I don't even know what to say to that, man. That's such a giant fuck you to this organization from Mark Scheifele. Like, you were in first place in the Central, now you're gonna act like that now. You're gonna act like this.
We were not just first place in Central.
I don't want to hear it.
Game 44, a 2-1 win over the Arizona Coyotes. We were best in the West. 3 days we held that until we played game 45. Then this team decided to be completely 50-50. Like, the definite, I have legit, checked it. It has been dead center 50-50 until they went on a road trip to Columbus, New Jersey, New York. The team has never recovered since then.
Yeah.
They've done nothing since.
And we all know that road trip is very fond memories for a certain somebody on this podcast.
This isn't even a Winnipeg Jets thing for 2023. This is a fundamental issue with the players of the Winnipeg Jets. Historically speaking, Winnipeg Jets have this innate ability to show so much promise and then just absolutely crater back to reality like a meteorite from the moon. It's so depressing. They've done this so many years. They did this in 2019. They did this in 2021. They didn't even make it in 2022.
And will we make it this year?
23. Flip a coin to decide if you think they're making it.
Can we also just point out how fucking pathetic the race for the 8th seed in the West is?
They're having
Excuse me. I gotta speak on this one.
Please.
I don't know who made I think he was a Stars fan on Twitter. He posted this graphic. If I care to edit this, maybe I'll throw it up there. But it said we're a generational mid-off. And it showed the Calgary Flames, the Nashville Predators, and the Winnipeg Jets with how much points they have and games remaining. And it was, oh god, I got a kick out of that. But it is so true. Like this is the least hungry fight for the 8th seed I've ever seen. Like I remember when the Jets were going all out in 2014-15, make the playoffs under newly appointed
The
Paul
Lee
Maurice
Stepniak move.
team. The Lee Stepniak move, Yuri Tolusti, Jay Harrison,
Loading
all
up.
those guys, man. They all Adam Party, they all went in, and those guys balled out. Pavlik came up with a Hellebuck-like performance for 4 games, had 4 straight shutouts to lead the team to the final or to the playoffs. And then,
that was the finals basically back then, man. That's what it felt like. That was it.
That was our Stanley
it.
Cup. But I just remember those days, and now I look at this team, and we can't even be bothered to show up against the Sharks.
And I said this I just talked about this in my video because I completely agree with you, man. It's like ever since that 2017, not 2018, because that was the good year. 18-19, excuse me, when we lost to St. Louis in the first year. That's that first round. That's that year, right? Like, I'm not getting everything twisted there.
It was, yeah.
Okay. Ever since that season, when that fall off happened, Zach, like you're saying right now, like that this historical thing after the All-Star break, almost for 5 years now, it has happened. For 5 years, this team has not had an identity. Like, let's just let that sink in for a second. Like, we all have known it's been coming. We've seen it for a long time. We've talked about it individually. Like, all of us have been talking about this for a long time in different... No, not even... Zach, I'm going back, like, even, like, to the start of me and you first meeting on YouTube, and even when Jackson used to be doing Jet-centric podcasts, like, years ago now. Like, think about it. We all saw these things coming, and it has gotten worse and worse. And every time the fans have, and the media even, have been like, okay, this is the domino effect. We're starting to see something happen. The organization did nothing about it. They ignored it. For 5 years, we've had no identity. We really haven't. Our locker room, because you know why I say that? Because a team with an identity does not fail every year, regardless of personnel, at the exact same time. That is identity. That is culture. And this, it's just pathetic that it took this long for the organization to be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't let Mark Scheifele talk to the media right now because, yikes, what's going on? Like, was it this type of, like, I know we needed to lose, but we've lost badly before. This isn't anything new. Why is it all of a sudden now everyone's waking up and been like, oh, shit, we might have a problem? It's like, this has been going on for years. This exact same issue.
I agree with you about the organization and frustration. I have such a visceral anger towards the personnel. Because, like, this isn't you getting outskilled. In this season,
they're giving up.
You've lost twice to the Sharks. You got a season swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Don't remind me.
You lost 1 of 2 to the Canadians. These aren't things like where this team were a better team than you showed up and you just weren't able to overcome the odds. You're not showing up. You don't give a shit. And you know what? And I've always said it in a very trivial sense. I've said it in such a little thing, a little fun thing. I'm like, you notice when the Winnipeg Jets score, they don't even give a shit. They don't even give a shit. Crack a smile. Get excited. It never happens. The only time that it did happen was that one goal by Josh Morrissey where he did the swear thingy. And we went, ooh, that's our captain. That's the man that will right the fucking ship. And, like, not to shit on Josh, I haven't seen him in the last few weeks. Like, I haven't seen
I feel like he's finally had his spirits broken, even in a career year like this for him.
He's having a Nate Schmidt year, where he starts off with so much, like, oh, hey, isn't this fun?
Okay, we're gonna pause the Josh slander here for a minute. Ever since Josh had his hip slashed up there, he's hurt. He's playing because right now Bonus is like, please God play, so I don't have to play Pionk like 25 minutes. Like, please God, no, please. So that's what's happening right now. I
agree. I'm not trying to bash Josh. I'm just saying that.
No,
like this is a guy. Yeah, you
he
need
hasn't been the Norris level, and that's a big issue. I don't know.
It's not even,
People
to be honest with you, Jackson, I think,
It's-
like, where I was going with it more was the fact that I don't think it's his play, because I agree with you. The man's obviously injured. He just has been a shell of himself to where he was, like, even,
Yeah.
like, 2-3 weeks ago, like you said, before the injury. It's very obvious. I think it's, like, look where Josh Morrissey was last year. I don't remember the exact quote verbatim, but, like, wasn't it, like, no one cares? Like, there's no voice.
Yeah, no, I know what quote you're talking about. I can't quote it.
But like I'm just saying that like this is a guy that's having a Norris year, has turned it around, believed in the coaching staff, bought in, and the fact that you're having guys that have been here their entire careers, and Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler, basically, let's be real, because Blake Wheeler's
They're
only been
already out the
relevant
door.
since Winnipeg. They're already they exactly like it's fucking pathetic.
one foot out.
This team, they didn't look at this year as being like let's try to fucking be good. They gave up somewhere along the line, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what in the room changed, but it baffles me how you could go from, like you said, Zach, top in the West to that mindset being completely gone in 2 months. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you as an individual to allow that to happen? You're a multi-million-dollar athlete, and you can't handle the stress or whatever it is? Like, it's pathetic.
This team lost that fight when they realized that no matter what happens, they will stay exactly where they are on this team. Blake Wheeler and Mark Scheifele can play like absolute ass, and they will still get north of 15 minutes a night. The only guy who shows fight is Ehlers because he gets his minutes stripped every fucking shift he doesn't perform.
And
There was so much competitive spirit at the beginning of the season because guys were playing up. We had guys like Fialbi, we had guys like Esimont, we had guys like Harkins that were pressing guys for positions. They made them work.
Do you guys
for
remember? Do you remember the last podcast we did where I talked about this, my whole thing? Because it was right when the slide was really starting to happen. Like when we were really getting into the bad parts of it. I said this team became broken when they got healthy. Because like you're saying, Zach, exactly like this. Once people realized that no matter what the fuck these guys were going to do, their spots were not going to, diminish. They were never going to lose their position in the top 6. What the fuck's the point of these guys putting in the effort anymore? And I completely agree with it because there's a reason why this team was able to win with Axel Johnson Fajalbi on the first line and then not without Ehlers. Like, there's a reason why he was good. There's a reason why all these guys had spirits. Even Sacramento Linen, because they were playing for something. And then it was ripped away from them, and then they all lost all their opportunity, and then the team became as stale as it was under Paul Maurice because Blake Wheeler and Mark Scheifele, like we've been expecting for years, are obviously fucking cancers. There's no other explanation at this point. Why is it that both those guys come back and are healthy, and the room falls?
I wanna take it back like 1 or 2 steps here from earlier when we were talking about a lack of identity and what the organization, like, I don't know, the org just struggled to have one, right? And we see it now with the team. They still don't really have one, which is kind of hilarious. But at the beginning of the year, you kind of had the sense that they were building one, and it like really hard.
I agree.
Like, remember how good they were structurally at maybe the first 30 games of the year?
Absolutely.
Look at this.
The depth was immaculate. Like it was insane.
Goals
And
against.
What?
Second in goals against.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Okay, now, obviously that's great, and that had a lot to do with Connor Hellebuck. But one thing that I want to say about them is that the organization didn't go out and try to build an identity. They went out and tried to buy one with Rick Bowness. They said Paul's the problem. Yeah, like Paul, Dave, whatever. That coaching staff was the issue, and they really pinned it on the coaching. And they brought Rick Bowness in to be the guy to come into the locker room and fix it all. And he did for a little while, but now it's broken again, and it doesn't seem like he's able to pick up the pieces. It's kind of hilarious watching Rick talk to the media now because you can see how pissed off he is, and he just wants to say, he's like, yeah, no, Mark Scheifele isn't playing well, Blake Wheeler isn't playing well, Kyle Connor isn't playing well, so on, so on. You can see it.
I agree.
He won't do it because if he does it, those guys are gonna put even less work in.
Okay, I don't understand this though. It blows my mind. I feel like the embarrassment on both those players, they wouldn't let's be real, they're just Winnipeggers at this point. No one outside of Winnipeg gives a fuck about Blake Wheeler or Mark Scheifele. I'm gonna be real with that. No one in the NHL cares about these guys. If they get traded, no one's gonna even know who they are until they get traded to that team. And then they're like, damn, let me look up Mark Scheifele real quick and see if he's a decent player or not and see his stats. No one cares about these guys. Let's be real. So I don't know why he's so scared. If anything, he should, because the Winnipeg media will just rip him apart. The fans will chew him out. They'll boo him. And then if they don't want to be here, fuck them. They can leave. I don't care. At this point, they've burnt all their bridges. But at least then, we finally can actually have an understanding of what's going on. If a coach could just be honest with the fucking fans and the media. I think there's something going on with True North. I think Mark Chipman and Kevin Cheveldayoff have their hands involved because they don't want us to rebuild or something. There's just something so stupid going on because Rick Bowness is not the type of guy to just let this type of shit go on. Like you said, Jackson, he came in with an identity. He was giving guys that had no opportunity, and we were winning. We were thriving. And then all of a sudden these guys come back. They're supposed to be the veterans, the all-stars of this team, and he can't call them out. What's stopping him? He called out everyone else that was bad. There's some there's some protective shield over Blake Wheeler and Mark Scheifele, and I don't understand why. Someone's protecting them. It's because it's obvious at this point. He has to walk tippy toes all around Mark Scheifele's name during the media time. Like he can't even say Scheifele's name. He has to just hint at the guy he's talking about.
We were so excited when they all came back too.
I know.
We were like, "This is it."
I thought this team was gonna explode.
President's Trophy.
Like
We're running it back, baby.
Hold on. You guys were excited? You guys were excited? We had all three back.
Like,
hey, we got.
I was excited when everyone got healthy, and we were like, you know what? Let's try to see what can happen. We're not talking about going into the season. Not talking about going into the season.
I thought you meant going into the year.
No. I was not. You know that. We know that. No. We were talking about when we got healthy this year, when everyone was back in their spots, and we thought this team was ready to go on that run.
Where we got healthy and beat Tampa.
Yeah.
Tampa sucks. Tampa.
We didn't know that back then, Jackson. We didn't know that back then. Let us hold on to these good memories.
Yeah. Remember when we beat Paul Maurice twice? Yeah, good times.
I just don't understand. Do you guys think there's any truth to that? Like, I know it's just me yelling, but like, it just feels like there's something going on. Because why can't you critique these guys? Every other coach in the league critiques their players. They critique Crosby, Malkin, Hall of Famers. I just don't understand.
I do think that there is I wouldn't say anything protecting them, but I do think. Because we see like the media up until like very recently, like maybe the last couple games, like ask about like players' minutes. Like Ehlers got like I think
10 minutes or under, I think.
11 or 12 minutes.
I think
that might be pushing it. And
that was after 2. With that thing.
No, after 2 he had 6.
Yeah, I remember that on Twitter.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that on Instagram or Twitter.
I put it in my video, but it was unbelievable. I don't know. Anyway, Nick Ehlers played 11 or 12 minutes that night. Mark Scheifele, Blake Wheeler, all those other guys played 18 to 20, whatever it was. And so the media was asking about that, and they're like, "Hey, well, it hasn't been working. Why are you doing this kind of thing?" And that was the most press I've ever seen. But I've seen Scott Billick talk on Twitter before. Like, I don't know, there's someone upset and like, "Why aren't you asking these specific questions?" And he says like, "There's things that I'm not allowed to ask." So I do think that there are things that he's not allowed to ask, whether that's from like where like Free Press, The Sun, anywhere, whatever, or if it's just from True North straight up, and they say like, "Hey, if you ask these kind of questions, we're not going to allow you into the media room," right? And I do think there is a bit of truth to that. I'm obviously not a part of.
Neither am I. I just feel there's just. I only say it as someone looking at a confusing situation, not understanding it, because I feel like this doesn't happen in a lot of other places in any sport, regardless of the market size.
Right. No, but my point is, if the reporters aren't allowed to ask questions, the coaches aren't allowed to ask.
I agree. Again, I'm just saying the overarching there's just an umbrella right now of like CEOs and upper management that control everything with the Jets, and it's very obvious at this point.
Do you want my here? I don't care if you want my take. I'm going to give you my take.
Good.
In the off season here, they're gonna. I really think they're gonna look at this and they're gonna say, okay, well, they're gonna figure out where they stand in Pierre-Luc Dubois. They're going to deal with that situation probably at the draft or just after the draft, and then that'll be whatever. If Pierre-Luc Dubois, look, I don't know. I know they gave Kevin that clean old, extension, that 3-year extension. He's in the first year of it now, and I don't see them firing him because that's such a not a True North thing to do, and especially when they've bought an $80 million property downtown. They just bought Portage Place, so they're not trying to spend any extra money right now to pay Kevin and hire somebody else. I wonder if they shift Kevin over to president of hockey ops as he got promoted, Kevin, kind of thing, and he can oversee the hockey stuff, which I honestly wouldn't have the worst.
I'd have no problem with that.
I wouldn't have that much of a problem with it. It's better than Mark Chipman being that guy right now. So, whether you like Chevy or not, that's just my take on that. I think that's something they'd look at just because, True North won't do it. you know they won't fire him. And then they bring in, whoever at GM. I'm not going to speculate on who because I have no idea who. But I wonder if they kind of lateral move that, and then once that contract is up, they say, "Oh, Chevy, thank you for your service, sir. Been so good for this franchise." And then they do a little tribute video for him. Thank you, Chevy, as we're rebuilding. We'll have 19 wins on game 75. Tanking for whoever the number 1 pick is in 2 years. Like, it's just, that's just the way I see it. Because
I agree.
True North won't say, "Hey, we made a mistake and we're gonna own it and we're gonna play."
They wouldn't even let Paul Maurice fucking fire him. They asked him to walk away nicely, quit, which is a worse look.
Got into Paul Maurice, and they're like, "Call it a quit."
They're like, we need you to quit on the team. We don't want to quit on you.
Paul, look,
you're not getting your severance package, Paul.
Yeah. And sorry, I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but
don't
thing
apologize, man. Right now, with the way the Jets are right now, we need these tangents. Just let them out. We got to clear our heads.
I saw a lot of people victory lapping that. "Oh, see, Paul wasn't the problem. I was right." Paul,
you were right.
Paul put these seeds. He took Blake Wheeler. He took Mark Scheifele. He planted them in the ground. He watered them. He gave them sunlight. He opened the window for everything so that they could sprout into the problem they are now. And I truly believe that is what it is. And Paul didn't do anything great here. I think he was a pretty horrific coach, if you want my honest take on it. And I think Rick Bowness is just dealing with the aftermath of what he was presented.
I think Rick Bowness, honestly, could turn this team around in a season if the management was competent. If you move out Wheeler, you move out Scheifele, you move out Dubois, you've got Kyle Connor still here, you've got Connor Hellebuck for 1 more year, Josh Morrissey's locked up, you still have some the defense down there that's locked up that are tradable. And I'm not going to say they're Norris guys, but, they're not going to not fetch a decent return for depth defense, the solid top 4 moves in Pionk and Dillon. This team could easily retool. I say that with no optimism, though, in the fact that they'll actually do that. It's real. I look at this team and I look at other teams in a rebuild or a retooling phase, and I'm like, fuck, the Jets could be competing for a cup in a year. They've got so many good pieces still. All they gotta do is just switch some stuff out and make some competent and risky moves at the same time, and hopefully get lucky. It's obviously there's a lot of luck in that too, but they have the pieces to make this team good really quickly. Do something similar to what Calgary did and bringing in elite pieces for elite pieces. Now Calgary is a different situation with coaching. We're not gonna talk about that, but still, you can do that. I just don't see Chevy or True North having the balls to do that. They're going to give Dubois to Montreal for a weaker return because that's just what they're going to do at this point. I would see them doing that before them actually making a risky trade and sending him somewhere else. I would see them even keeping Wheeler on this team just because he's Captain Wheeler, let him play the franchise greats, get his stuff, 1 more contract, and he's gone. I wouldn't be surprised if Wheeler's still with his team next year and Scheifele's gone. I'm just going to say that right now. I don't think this franchise trades Blake Wheeler. If we're being completely honest and real with each other right now with tangents.
This franchise can trade Blake Wheeler. And I don't think anyone... Cause I don't think they can. I don't think they can. I mean, even if you cut that contract in half, what's going to happen to it?
Even with 1 more year left, nope. It really would be. Are they going
to buy him out?
Nope.
Do you think they're going to buy out their former captain? I hope they do.
Franchise leader in points and games played and everything, every stat? No.
No, absolutely not. And especially if you get rid of Mark Scheifele, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and then Connor Hellebuck says, "Hey, I want out," and he leaves too, you're not getting rid of Blake Wheeler because
you need something for season tickets.
Fan base. That's too much. Hey, we got to.
There's a lot of banners going down.
Yeah.
You got no one left to put on your ad campaign.
Hey guys, we're gonna like Jackson said. I know we only have 13 wins at the 35 game mark, but Dustin Byfuglien's back on the ice. We're gonna retire his number. Woohoo! We're back, baby.
Yeah, he's too busy fishing tournaments actually, but I love the.
You know what though? I'm just gonna say shout out to Dustin Byfuglien for being an absolute legend that fucked off from this franchise at the absolute right time. I'm at first I was hurt by it, but Byfuglien, I'm really glad you're not here to witness this shit. Thank you for leaving when you did on top. Yeah. Seriously, you left on top of your game, and I respect you so much for that, because if I had to watch you play like Blake Wheeler's playing right now, I'd cry, man. That'd be so depressing. No, thank you. I don't know. I need to watch 33 out there fucking skating slower than a turtle.
You guys want to hear my totally uneducated, totally random take of the day?
Yes.
Shoot it.
I think Brian Little ends up being the Winnipeg Jets assistant GM in the next 5 years.
I love that.
He's been in the building a lot this season.
You know what? I've been thinking about Brian Little taking a job too, but I thought I saw it more of like as a title position type thing with the franchise.
Could be, yeah.
But you know
Could
what
be for
though?
sure. This is just me spitballing.
And again, you know what though? We're getting to that point in time where we should start bringing guys back. Like, you know, it's pretty funny when you see Mark Stewart getting a video tribute as the assistant coach or whatever on fucking, what team was that? I don't even remember.
The Oilers.
Yeah, Mark Stewart,
Yeah,
defensive
big man.
the fucking pylon himself, the
Bench
Winnipeg
master.
pylon himself.
The 2-on-1 creator. The
Quick 20-second story there on Mark Stewart. When I was a kid, when Jets first came back, I'll never forget this because my dad was so wrong about it, but he kept on telling me that Mark Stewart is the most important defenseman on this team, one of the most important players. He's the glue man. He keeps the team together. He keeps them winning. Dad, sometimes you watch this stuff and I love you, but Mark Stewart has been fucking awful his entire career. Terrible take. I'll see you for coffee next Saturday. But nonetheless, though, yeah, Mark Stewart. But like,
Was it
again,
Mark
though, we
Stewart
need to
guy
bring
that-
people back.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Wasn't Mark Stewart the guy that got Bogo and Trouba into coke?
Yeah.
Wasn't that what
Yeah.
happened?
And I think no,
Most
also is
important
Devin
step,
Setaguchi.
maybe
Devin
that's team bonding.
Devin Setaguchi. Can't forget about him.
Oh,
He
that
had a
was a
fucking
whole
nose on him, man. When the moment he came here from San Jose, he was ready to go.
get a vacuum, baby. Okay, sorry. Continue, Jake.
On that,
Dude, I don't even need to continue after that. That's a really good encapsulates the Winnipeg Jets of that era well. Oh yeah, let's play for 500 hockey. Oh man, but no, like I don't know. We need to start embracing like we need to just start embracing change. Like this franchise, at first it was like, this is our first core. This is the first this is the first that, and it's like, yeah, that's great. The fans got to know the team with these guys. They, you know, the first playoff runs, the first memories. This stuff's fucking important, and it'll be remembered forever. Like, there's gonna be a banner on my wall one day that's gonna have Blake Wheeler and Dustin Byfuglien and maybe even Mark Scheifele potentially. Like, it's gonna happen. Like, those guys are gonna go up there with how, when you look at the careers, we just know it will. So, for it to get to where it is now, and then still not really give a shit about the future, just, I don't know. It bothers me.
Look at like where you are right now. Are you really comfortable next season with Mark Scheifele, Connor Hellebuck, Pierre-Luc Dubois on the last year of his RFA, and Blake Wheeler? I mean, because they'll see him as an asset. Are you really comfortable with all of those guys as free agents upcoming? And you're just like, we'll figure it out. Like, are you really that comfortable with it? No, you can't. You cannot jeopardize the next 3 to 5.
Cole
7
Perfetti
years.
is also an RFA after next year. Oh no, sorry.
Cole
Yes, he is.
He is. And Cole Perfetti. Like, I have faith they'll bring Cole in. But are you going to really lose all of your like core players for nothing? Are you gonna lose all of those guys? Are you gonna let them all walk? You cannot be seriously considering that. And if they are, this team absolutely deserves to miss the playoffs. This team deserves to be horrific next season, and they deserve to be horrific for a long, long time, because that move, not making a move,
Brain dead.
is going to hurt this franchise for so long. Could you imagine the haul that would come with Connor Hellebuck? Could you imagine the haul that would come with Mark Scheifele?
Yep.
And one thing that I want to add is go look at the free agent list upcoming for this offseason. There is nobody.
The trade
That
market's
free
going to
agent
be the
class
year.
Sucks. Those guys are going to be worth so much more. Their value's going to be even more inflated than, they already are. And I think that they could really, really bring a nice return. And even if Dubois doesn't go to Montreal, I think there's some sucker team out there that's going to take a chance and believe in the
I agree. Again, like I was saying, the Jets could find themselves in a perfect retool, rebuild situation if they just handle themselves in the correct manner. But this organization has shown that they can't. Like, they really can't. So I have no faith in them.
They're not going to do that. You know what they're going to do? They're going to stand pat. They're going to do nothing.
Don't you dare say it.
They're going to move Felix Ball.
Oh.
And you know who they're going to get? Mr. Jonathan James. And they're going to say, look what we got you. And all this, and they're going to expect the season ticket holders to pile in one more run at the cup.
Why do you gotta say that stuff, man? Because I forget about shit like that, and then you bring it right back to the front of my brain, and now I'm not gonna sleep tonight. Now I'm not gonna sleep tonight because that literally.
Jonathan James the Jet, you heard it here first.
I think there's going to be a lot of hurt. this offseason, more so for management than us as fans. I really think that this is the end.
I agree.
I know we all got all, oh my God, what are they gonna do with Drager this morning, saying that the Jets have, like, whatever, they're gonna try their best to re-sign Pierre-Luc Dubois. Of course, they're going to try their best to sign Pierre-Luc Dubois. Of course they are. Duh. Like,
No shit.
whatever. Like, obviously they are, but he's not gonna re-sign. So if that goes out the door, who's your 2C? You don't have one. Mark Scheifele, probably gone. You probably can't get Mark Scheifele back in a Jets uniform next year, and if you do, that is just
Stupid.
says a lot about the organization. But then at that point, Connor Hellebuck sees this. Is he going to want out? Probably. Connor Hellebuck wants to win. He doesn't care where. He wants to win. Every time that he goes up there, they asked him earlier on this season, they said, talking about his Vezina, chances at the beginning of the year, and he said, I don't care about the Vezina trophy. I only care about winning a Stanley Cup. So he wants to win a cup, obviously. And I think that he's going to probably request a trade if those two guys go. I wouldn't blame him. He's not going to win here. The team would be entering a retool. But I think it's going to be very messy. And I think that whenever it is, if the Jets make the playoffs and they have exit meetings, or if they lose and have exit meetings, I don't think there's a world where there's not some firecrackers going off between 55, 80, 26, and maybe even 37 at some point.
I'm going to throw in even 27 as well. I think Ehlers could really let it off the chain. I really think that I'm not saying he's going to request a trade, but I think that Ehlers genuinely believes in this team and his time in Winnipeg. Like, he wants to be here, and I think he's sick and tired of this age of hockey, and I think he's ready to be the face of it.
It's very telling. It's worth noting Nikolai Ehlers is one of the few people that actually lives in Winnipeg. Like,
I don't think Ehlers is requesting a trade anytime soon.
They accidentally revealed this when playing a stupid game of Guess Who on the channel. I was watching it, and I watched because they're like, does the guy have a pad in Winnipeg? And they just took, and the only people that were left that they could have voted that still got votes was Adam Lowry, Nikolai Ehlers, and Josh Morrissey. I don't think the other guys that you think were up there were even options at that point. Like, they'd already been taken down. But it was very telling that that's it in terms of who's here.
I agree.
But, yeah.
Like, I just wanted to say that because we've been talking a lot about different things this podcast, and that's cool. Like I said, I think it's important in this one with the way that the Jets are, that we kind of just get all of our thoughts out as fans, because that's what this is a fan podcast for the fans by the fans.
Our next podcast is going to be, I'm thinking, the day after Game 82. Like,
I can't wait for that day, honestly. Like, no matter what happens, I am very excited to see the exit video, because they're gonna give exit interviews regardless of them making the playoffs, right? Like, I can't remember because of last year. They don't.
No.
It's once they are eliminated, the exit interviews, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then you get.
Now I'm a little more disappointed.
We'll have to wait 4 more games.
Woohoo!
5. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, they gotta get one win in the whiteout party.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that True North isn't doing more to try to motivate them too on that. I just wanted to say that real quick. Like, they just spent all this money on Portage Place and all that, right? They're trying to expand and take the franchise in new directions. They also invested all the money and all the permits and all this gear already for the whiteout. Like, it's already been said like a couple weeks ago. I saw that on Twitter. Like, they had bought into it. They were all ready to go.
They're renovating the arena right now for the playoffs.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
that's what they're renovating it for? Oh my god, I didn't know that. I just thought it was just regular out. Oh my god.
No, they're doing it for the playoffs. They really do. It's like,
are they that naive?
What if they don't make it? What if they don't make it? Like, I was okay. This sounds terrible, but I was watching that. I had the Calgary game like just on my phone, just refreshing it, and I was like actively hoping that Calgary could score. I was like, I don't want this team to make the playoffs.
I don't want them to make the playoffs either.
This year. I don't want any hope for this team. I want this team to go into the off season and change, because I can't do this anymore. This is killing me. I just don't care. Like, is there anybody on this team that I would cry about losing right now? Like, if they were moved? I don't think so. I really don't. I'm so numb to it now, where I'm at the point where I just want change, and I want to build up a new core. And the wave of guys that are coming up, like
it's so
Brad
promising.
Lambert, Rucker McGroarty, Danny Gilkin, Ville Heinola, Declan Chisholm. I'm forgetting so many guys here.
There are too many.
So many guys.
Henry Nikinen.
Henry Nikinen looks like he could be a player, but you have all of those guys. You have all those guys ready, like or not ready, but like in the next 1 to 2 years that are going to be stepping into the NHL and making an impact. Imagine what else you could add in a Connor Hellebuck, Mark Scheifele. I'm forgetting names here. Like anybody, Pierre-Luc Dubois deal, like anything, and just imagine how much that would propel you. And I don't think the rebuild would be that long.
Neither do I. And like you're saying, you don't even need to trade everybody. You've got a lot of guys that are good, locked up. Like the Jets are in a really good spot, guys. Like it's crazy. I agree with you, man. I hate to say it, and I'm really glad that you did first because I wasn't gonna say it. But I have been actively rooting against the Jets when it comes for the last couple games, because it's like, look, guys? This isn't the year where they beat Edmonton in that year in the Canadian division, all that. This is not the COVID year. This is not like, it's not even close to that 7-game slide. Not even close. You can't even compare it to that when you look at how bad this team has been. For how many wins do we have in our last 20 or whatever it is? What were we saying before we started this?
Not many.
Like it's ridiculous. Like Zach, didn't you say we've literally been 500? We've been 500 since game 44. You said, right?
We were exactly 500 from games 44 to up until the game in Columbus. After the game in Columbus, our win to loss ratio was roughly at a 1-2 pace. Because that shows
that's where it was last year too. That's exactly what we were last year. 1 win, 2 losses, 1 win, 2 losses, 1 win, 2 losses the entire year.
And then we get 2, and then if we get 2 wins, we get 3 losses.
Oh, good. Nice.
You heard it here first from the mathematician himself, but
you heard it here first. They're cooked. That's crazy.
I just sign off right there, mic drop. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. But like, no, it's ridiculous. Like, it's when you really look at this whole situation, I'm kind of flabbergasted a little bit. Like every time I go over it again, it's like, wow, we really suck. Like this is cataclysmically bad. Like this is bad.
We were a wagon. It turns out we were a wagon on the Oregon Trail. Like we were a wagon.
Where that wagon and where the wheel falls off in the first mission.
We died of dysentery on the Oregon Trail.
I might have said it already. I can't even remember. I've been just, I don't know, seeing red here talking about the Jets. But like, I feel like a lot of people saw Paul Maurice step down, and they were like, okay, well we've got the change now. Like that was the issue.
That was kind of me.
Now, yeah, no, so was I. So I was thinking the same thing. Well, Dave Lowry came in and did a bunch of nothing. Okay, shocker. But then we come in with this brand new coaching staff, and I really like the coaching staff.
Me too.
I like most.
But I like most of the coaching staff too. I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to get into that right now.
Yeah,
but I do not like Scott Arniel. But you know, we coast down this line. We look really good, and we go, oh, look at that. Oh, we're all happy, and then we're right back where we were this time last year. Not a very good team, very uninspiring hockey, and I think this is why people are freaking out now, because they thought we had it fixed. And now we're realizing that the issues were really never gone.
They're who we thought they were.
They're just taped up. Your pipes were taped up, and now they've burst. And now we're sitting in a situation where
grab a bucket and bail for your life.
Pretty much, grab a life vest, because it's gonna be a wild ride. But I'm here for it, man.
I'm here for the chaos. I totally agree, man. Best way to put it. Days of our lives? Nah, give me every couple days at 7 o'clock on TSN on a Jets game.
No, you know what you get? You get the 11 p.m. Jay Onright TSN post about the Jets really needing to turn it on. I love getting that every day on Instagram. I see a new fucking thing from Jay Onright about, yeah, so Craig, the Jets aren't doing real hot, are they? Like, it's new news, and it's like, shut up.
No, Craig Button comes on there. Well, I think it all starts with Pierre-Luc Dubois' work ethic. Yeah, no, I love Craig, man. I love what he tries to talk about.
Oh, me too. I love this. But before we end it, I just gotta say that beat between Craig and Kevin Sawyer this season has been like the only good thing about the TSN panel. They're always going at it. Like during intermission, Craig Button will say something,
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah.
fucking Kevin
Yeah.
Sawyer gets so angry because he's like dissing like a third line depth player. And then like he'll be like, he'll literally ask, he'll be like, is Craig Button coming back on? And he's like, no, he's not scheduled. He's like, okay, I just have to get my final piece in on this about what he was saying earlier. And like he's done that multiple times during the
Yeah, he
third
has.
period.
He's
It's
got-
ridiculous.
well, he's like, well, we're not going to be talking to Craig anymore, but like, I just wanted to bring up one thing that he said, not to talk behind his back or anything, but Sakimanilainen has not been totally useless. He's been going to the net.
That's literally what he said one time, Zach. He's not even joking. That's almost verbatim what he said. Like he's doing the little things right, playing the game, and it was about Saku.
I love it.
Fuck.
Man. It's such a good.
At least we'll have Kevin to narrate this pathetic journey of Jets hockey we'll be able to enjoy for the
Get
next
him back.
decade.
Get him
Woohoo!
5-year contract for Kevin Sawyer. That's going to be the big.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if they make the playoffs, the whiteout party could be pretty good vibes this year. If the fan base is actually like got their thumb on the pulse and the guys that are down there know it, like they're like the Twitter fans. Woo, that could be fun.
Wild. Get there because they'll just be like, "Fuck it, we going for broke."
Dude, the riots of the Winnipeg whiteout 2023.
For real, man.
It might
For real,
happen.
man. And
A
we see
sweep
that.
with the whiteouts. I can see it. I can see it, man. Downtown Winnipeg in flames because of a sweep.
4-0 sweep. We're taking the Golden Boy down.
Oh man, this fire Chevy and the pitchforks finally come out with the torches. It's finally happening. Oh man. Well,
Up today.
Perfect time, and I feel like, guys, we're at the 40-minute mark. I've spoken my pieces. I feel like we've said a lot of different things here, but everything kind of relating back to one common piece of information, ladies and gentlemen. The Jets suck! And a lot's going into it. But as always, we're going to be here to talk about it and yell about it, apparently. And we thank you for joining us and lending us 40 minutes of your time to listen to a bunch of Jets fans scream. It's a fun time for us. We hope you enjoy it. And let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below on how you guys are feeling about the Jets right now. Because I feel like we all need to kind of have a moment like this where we just scream about our frustrations right now. So take that anger out in the comment section. We'll love to read it. Best comment will get pinned. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Anything you want to say before we close it off?
Go Flames.
Woohoo! Nashville all the way. I want to see some Piss Tigers in the playoffs. That would be great. But yeah, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Go Jets, go. We'll see you guys in the next one.